What do you send out after your virtual event? I had a live masterclass last week on putting together a 5-day challenge. And after the masterclass, I sent out my standard series of post-virtual event emails. And one of the attendees reached out to me and she's like, oh my gosh, these follow-up emails are amazing. And so to me, it's just the normal things that I send out, but it occurs to me that maybe everyone doesn't know what they should include in that follow-up email series. So let's just talk about that a little bit. I want to give you 9 emails that you should be sending out after your virtual event. So the first email should be focused on answering the question, does this work? Does your offer work for the person? And this is, and I should say, actually, this is, if we call this email number 1, email number 0 should be an email that includes a replay for the people that either missed it or want to go back and watch it. And in that first, the 0 email, you may also want to just recap your offer and what's included. So let's presume that you're at least sending that out. After that, email number 1B, however you want to count it, email number 1 should be addressing the question, does this work? So here's where you're going to talk about statistics, about what's going on in your particular target market, about how your solution could specifically address the problems that people in their industry might be facing, or in that market might be facing. Email number 2 is, will this work for me? So here you want to just kind of dig and poke at their pain points a little bit more and make sure that it's very clear that you understand what they're dealing with, you understand what's keeping them up at night, and that your particular offer is the thing that is going to solve that problem for them. Email number 3 should answer the question, why is this set up this way? In other words, there may be some of the features, now the other emails we're talking about benefits, but there might be some of the features that they may have questions about. So, are the sessions live, and what does that mean? And can I still get the recordings if I can't attend the live? For mine, what I do is I build out their whole 5-day challenge automations, and the whole system is powered by Keap Marketing Automation System. And so in one of my emails, I'm explaining why the whole thing is powered by Keap, and that's why I build it on that platform. So that's what I explain. But for yours, just go into a little bit more detail about a question that perhaps came up about, why is it this way? Why is it a 6-week program? Why is it a year-long program? Why is it all audio? Why is it on this platform or that platform? Just the kinds of questions that may have come up from your participants. Why you is the next question. That's question number 4. Why you? So in other words, why you and not the other coach or the other person that's offering this? This is where you are presenting your unique selling potential. And USP, I hear many different interpretations of that. But what makes you unique? What makes you different from the other person who says that they're offering basically the same thing? For me, I tend to take all of the chaos and make it simple. That I cut through the chaos, make things simple for people. That's one of the many things that people love about me. So what is it that people love about you that's going to separate you from what other people are offering? Number 5 is, I call it says who. Back when I was a professor for almost 30 years. When I was a professor, I was constantly writing that on my students' papers when they would make these claims about, these random statistics that they would just pull often out of the air. And I would always say, says who? Cite your sources. In this case, the says who means who else says that you're as fabulous as you are or that your program works. So this is where you're going to include examples of your testimonials. If this is your first time offering whatever it is that you're selling, then include testimonials from other programs and say, this is what clients have said about working with me, even though this particular course might be a new course that you're selling. And then what else is email number 6? I like to have sort of a hidden bonus so that if people did not already take advantage of my offer, I then throw in another bonus that they weren't expecting to just kind of push people over the edge. Each one of these emails should be helping to knock those objections out of the way or provide even more value into your offer so that they see that they're getting even more for that same price. And number 7 is, are there other options? I would rather people pay all at once up front, but as we're getting further into the sales process, I will then introduce a payment plan or some other sort of payment option. So maybe if I was offering a pay in full or a two pay up front, maybe at this point I might offer a 3 pay or something else. I don't know what this light is doing, so we'll just ignore that. So that's number 7. And then number 8, as we're winding down, I provide a recap. Here's everything that you're going to get. Just one more time, outlining everything that they're going to get, including that special surprise bonus, including the option for the payment plan, just everything in one email so that they can just review it all and make their final decisions. And then email 9, I say email 9, but it's really 9, 10, and 11, because on the very last day, the day that the cart is closing, that's when I'll send them an email that reminds them that today's the last day. Send that early in the morning. In the afternoon or closer in the evening, say, hey, cart is closing at midnight. And then when there's an hour left before the cart closes, I send a final email. So that is the typical sales cycle, email sequence that I send post virtual event. What I would also add to that, and what I actually did this last time, but I hadn't done it before, that's why I didn't put it on the list. What I added this time was, what did you think? So within some of the earlier emails, I also include an email saying, hey, I'd love to get your feedback on the virtual event. What did you think? Please click here, fill out this form, give me your feedback. That's a great way to get feedback that's going to help you make the next version of it even better. It also is a great way to get content for testimonials for the next time you do the same event. So what did you think? And then the other email that I just today realized I need to add is one where it's, what if you don't want to do it? Meaning, I bumped into the same person that I bumped into who said that she loved the email sequence. She was like, I loved everything about what you're offering, but I don't feel like doing any of that work. I'd rather somebody just do it for me. And then it's like, oh, ding, ding, ding. Here's an idea. I'm going to have one additional email that's like, or if you don't want this done with you, automated campaign, we also have a done for you version, which I do. I just hadn't included it in the email campaign. So definitely we'll add that in from now on. So that's what I include in a typical post-virtual event email sequence. Highly recommend you put that into practice. And I'm happy to share other tips on how to make the most of your virtual events. Stay tuned for future lives.